This is Open Door with Vince Robinson. In-depth conversations with people who are making a difference in the lives of others here and around the world. Culture is at the heart of who you are. Know your culture, find yourself on Open Door with Vince Robinson.
Grand dawning, Cleveland, Ohio, and the rest of the world. Welcome to another edition of Open Door with Vince Robinson. My guest is one of the most recognized timbales players in Northeast Ohio and a fixture in the regional Latin jazz scene. He's one of 14 children. Well, basically, I'm saying 14 because I heard him say this on stage at the Lorain Palace Theater a few days ago. He was born in Lorain to parents who were not musicians, introduced to the timbales by an older brother. He joined the drum corps at Admiral King High School and began playing professionally at the age of 13. After high school, he joined Cobra, a Latin rock band, before joining Orquestra Charambo and later Impacto Nuevo. For the past decade, he has fronted his own band, Sammy DeLeon and Su Orquestra, opening for acts including El Gran Combo, Tito Rojas, and Tony Vega. He regularly mentors student percussionists in Latin rhythms, and his band has become known as Sammy Salsa College. Welcome to Open Door, Mr. Sammy DeLeon. How are you, my brother?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me here. I'm doing just fine now that I get to talk to you.
Okay. Well, I'm so glad to have you on the air. And as I said, I witnessed the performance that you did with the Cleveland Jazz Orchestra. And it was amazing, you know, when you hit the stage and you started playing the music. And then there was a moment when you welcomed one of your bandmates, Sammy. And we never did hear what his last name was, so you can share that with me. But when you guys started playing, I mean, the concert hall just came alive, and it's a testimony to your prowess on the instrument and the impact that you have on the lives of others. So I'm really happy to have this conversation with you. I've witnessed you playing as a fixture in the Tri-C Jazz Festival for many years, and you are one of the reasons that Latin music has such a footprint in Northeast Ohio. So I got to give you that praise while you're here.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes. So one of 14 children, when I was thinking about what we would talk about, one thing that was really important to me was that we talk about your upbringing, because I'm sure it has influenced your playing somehow as you were introduced to the instrument by your brother. So what was it like growing up with 13 other siblings?
Well, with 13 other siblings from the same mother and father, it was. I had the best of both worlds, to tell you the truth, because I was right in the middle. I'm right in the middle, number 7. And you know, my older brothers. First of all, my brother Willie, he was well known as a DJ, you know, local DJ. His name was Willie D Disco, and once he got out of the service, he brought the music, the disco era and the salsa era, and you know, we grew up on that stuff little by little. And so my older brothers, once Willie was well on his way DJing, and my brother Joey got into the music doing sound and DJ'd also. Then my brother Robert, he was DJ. He played congas for a while. He's the one that I inherited the timbales from, because he took a little left turn, but he got himself straightened out again. And so I had the drums, and I just kept moving on. And then my other brother, Mikey, he lives in Phoenix. He has his own band still to this day. And then it was me. Then I have a younger brother, Henry, which he plays a steel drum, you know. And that was that, you know. So little by little, my father, you know, he was he loved music, and he was a very happy person. And my mother, you know, she was very humble, and they taught us how to be humble in life, and you know, be humble to people. You know, if you can help somebody, you can give a helping hand. You know, it's not all about the money. It's about helping a hand to somebody. So they kind of raised our whole family like that, and we're a very tight family. And like I said, I just thank the band upstairs for having all 14 of us, you know, still alive. Mm-hmm. You know, my mom died in 1977. I was 16, and then my dad died in 2003. Okay. But yeah, they raised us well. You know, we were raised in Catholic Church at Sacred Heart Church in Lorain, Ohio. And there was a gentleman, he was, his name was Bruce. He was the first ropes how to singing and doing singing in voices, different voices, soprano, alto, tenor, bass, and we sang in church. Me, my brother Mikey, and my brother Robert sang, in church almost every day, and we how can I tell you? Oh yeah, we sang, for weddings, we sang for funerals, we sang for Christmas and Christmas time, Easter time. Yeah, so the Sacred Heart Church was a big influence on us with Brother Cyprian. So, as the years get, we getting older, getting older, and then we started like not shying away from church or religious, not just getting into the music and going, taking steps to get better, move up the ranks, how we could do it, But yeah, it was fun, but it was tough, but it was fun. It's like a challenge. So, a lot of things went on as, the years went by. I just told, like you said, got on board. And like I started with a trio from Lorain, Ohio. They were called Trio Puerto Rico. Three older gentlemen played trio music. And then from there, then I went to Cobra. From Cobra, went to Charambo. From Charambo, there was a band in between Charambo and my band. It was called, Impacto Nuevo was called Marquise. Then from Marquise went to Impacto Nuevo. From Impacto Nuevo, then went over to my band, which has been together almost 27 years now.
Okay. The other thing that I wanted to try to understand, because, raising 14 children is not a small feat. And as I was thinking about
it's not. No, it's not.
That dynamic, the first question is, how does a man take care of so many? And then I was envisioning how you all got to church, and it probably wasn't 14 at the same time, but I was thinking you would have to have a bus to make it.
Well, let me put it to you this way. My dad worked at Ford Motor Company for almost 30 years. Well, first he worked 5 years at U.S. Steel in Lorain, and then he started working at Brook Park Ford Motor Company. So that was that. And then while he was working there, he worked on the line. He seen there was a van there, one of the big old Cadillac vans, passenger vans. So he got into one of those. Tommy wanted it made at the Ford Motor, and he bought it. And yeah, so that was that. But then even the van wasn't enough for us because we had, he had bought my mom a car. She just got her license, in the late '60s, and we kept moving from there. So we had my mom. My dad used to go work every day. My mom had to take us to 3 different schools at the time, like elementary, junior high, and high school. And years went by. One graduated. They left to the service. Willie left to the service. Then my sister Carmen. Then my brother Joey. And my sister Rosemary. And, on and on and on and on.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Yeah, that's amazing.
Then it was up to Dad, and but it was everything. Like I said, we're a real tight family. Everybody looked out for each other, and we made it happen. And everybody has their profession now for the most part. But it was incredible. And my mom, she worked very hard to keep us going. Make sure we ate breakfast before we get our clothes together the night before we go to school, and then breakfast in the morning for this crew, and then the next she'll come back, next crew, and then do the same thing in the evening every day, Monday through Friday.
Yes. Well, I got to tell you, brother, your mother, she deserves a trophy for all the hard work that she put in.
Well, right now, she's a saint. I'm going to put it that way. She's our saint.
Yes, indeed. So during this journey, living with the family as you did, you discovered music, and you're known for playing timbales, but I saw you playing the conga drums the other night, and that's something that I haven't seen a lot of, probably because you got someone else in the group playing the congas, but I was really impressed by the way that you played those congas. I know that at one point you were actually just using your fingertips, and it was a very subtle thing, but I noticed that.
Yeah, well, there's times, I can't beat the heck out of it like I like to do all the time. So, but the congas and the bongo part, that came in, like, I want to say about, I was around it all the time, growing up playing timbales. So as I was playing timbales while I'm watching these guys play congas, and little by little, I just started picking it up, and then it got to the point where, they were calling for percussion and then not just timbales. So I had invested in some timbales and bongos, and now I got about 3 or 4 timbales. I got congas. I got bongos. I got all kinds of stuff to hear my music and stuff. So I had to learn how to play them, you know. And not that I'm the best one to play them, but I give it my all when I play. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Talk about,
and I just try to fit it. I just try to fit in, you know, make it happen.
Yes. So obviously, after playing for such a long time and basically being an entertainer all of your life, I mean, if you subtract the 13 years that came before you started with the instrument, you've learned how to work a crowd. You've really honed your craft. What are the things that you've picked up along the way that have helped you be so effective in presenting this music to audiences?
Well, what happened was, you know, my dad, he was always, you know, he wasn't the greatest musician. You know, there's an instrument that comes from Puerto Rico. It's called a cuatro. It's 4, but it has 10 strings on it. I'm glad they call it that. I couldn't even get into it, but I think years ago with the cuatro, it was just 4 strings, and they added more strings to it, but they left the same name. So, at that, what I'm trying to say is his timing wasn't very well in the music. You know, he'll play something, but his timing was a little off. But, you know, and he was always trying to do like little skits and shows and stuff like in church and stuff like that. And then one time, you know, years ago, we were kids and they got us to do something on Channel 43 years ago with Alice Weston. I'm talking about a long time ago. So, you know, he got us into that. We were young kids, you know, so he was always like trying to entertain and stuff like that. So we kind of got that off of him, you know. I kind of got that off of him and my brother, you know, a couple of my brothers and stuff. So we were always trying to entertain the crowd. And one thing that they always taught us, you know, a positive mind, positive heart, positive things happen. And that's something that they cemented down in all my whole family. So all of us, we're always trying to, you know, take care of people, get people to feel that, you know, we're here. And we just have to enjoy life for what we got.
Yes.
So we keep it moving, you know. So, but my dad, he was an entertainer. He liked to speak in front of crowds, and and he was good at it too, you know. So we kind of got that little niche off of him, you know. So
yes,
it's cool, you know.
On stage, you kind of mentioned what it was like to have to sit on the sidelines during the time that musicians weren't able to perform. And I just happen to think that musicians and artists in general are probably one of the greatest healing forces that exist on the planet. So when you observe a performance of Sammy DeLeon Orchestra, you witness a joy that comes over people when they hear the music. And I want to talk to you a little bit about what that means to you as one of the purveyors of happiness, and talk about some of the things that you've accomplished as a musician when we return. You're listening to Open Door with Vince Robinson on 95.9 FM WOVU, Burton Bell Carr Community Radio. My guest is percussionist Sammy DeLeon. We'll be right back.
Ohio is our home, and it's full of family we're proud to care for. With more than 200 locations, Cleveland Clinic is growing to bring world-class care to your community. From Canton to Avon, and coming soon to Mentor. Whether it's sniffles and sneezes, or something more serious, big or small, we're always near you. For every care in the world. Schedule your care today at clevelandclinic.org/access.
This message was brought to you by WOVU 95.9 FM, Burton Bell Carr Community Radio.
Hi, this is Helen Maynard, news editor at Signal Cleveland, and you're listening to 95.9 FM WOVU, Burton Bell Carr Community Radio.
Welcome back to Open Door with Vince Robinson. My guest is musician supreme, Mr. Sammy DeLeon.
Okay.
I'm telling you, man, you got some big shoes there, and you're doing a great job with it. Before we went to,
thank you.
All right. Before we went to this break, I was just talking about the role that musicians hold in the lives of people. I witnessed a concert that you did that was promoted by my friend Ken Hawkins Jr. a couple years ago. It was on this great big field in Lorain. And, folks were just filled with joy as you were performing. someone dear to me, Miss Imani Capri, was actually the MC that night. So I was able to see my good friend on stage with you. And I think Jackie Warren played with you on that night as well.
She sure did.
Yes.
Yes, she did.
Yes. So I just want to talk to you about how you see your role. I think you alluded to it a little bit earlier, but why do you think that it's so important for people to be exposed to what you do?
Well, first of all, in the music industry, and I've learned as years gone on, music is it's international. Music, it soothes the mind, it soothes the heart, and it soothes the body. So what I'm trying to say is, when I am playing, I am trying to make people, and I make sure the band has to be the way it's supposed to be. It has to be, at its peak when we're playing. I can't have nothing distract me, because the band, we're supposed to make the people happy, not the people. And then on return, the people make us happy. When they dancing, the band sounds better. But I've played in places where, we're playing, the band sounding great, but nobody wants to get out of their chair. So I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Let me talk to these people. And I tell them, when we play for you all. You all paid to get in. You did not pay to sit down on your seat. You paid to come on in, dance, and have a good time. Although, like this past Saturday was a concert. I understand that. But I'm pretty sure I had people moving in their chairs. I'm glad nobody broke a chair there, where they were seated, because, they start shaking and going crazy. But my thing is, I like to play music to see people smiling and be happy, And every song, although some people don't, just when I play, there's songs that, they send a message, even if there's lyrics or there's no lyrics. Now, each song sends a message to you. You just got to feel it, know how you want your mind to go. But the most important thing is the positivity. You have to have positivity. If there's no positivity, then you're like, okay, that sounds like the same thing you played a little while ago, But everything has a message for it. So me being a musician, I like to send a message out, like, to everybody, like, if you're going to go see a band play, no matter if the band is not playing very well, you have to, make them feel better, whatever. Even if those songs, make you guys make noise out there, the crowd, make noise, and, it makes the band feel, okay, they're appreciating us. Then it makes them want to give it more effort. Not just up there because they're up there playing just to make the money and keep it moving. Because a lot of people say, oh, you play music, it's a hobby. I go, no, it's not a hobby. It's not a hobby. If you get it paid, it's a job. It is a job. You do your practice. You have to go to practice. You get paid for practice. Because like I tell all my musicians, I go, when we practice, you get paid for rehearsal. You're not getting paid for the gig. You already did the hard part, rehearsing. Now it's the gig. You can't stop the song in the middle. You have to keep it going. You messed up. That's because you didn't do your homework. And all they're going to get from me, if I know they messed up, they're just going to get a look from me, and I just keep it moving, and you act like nothing happened. But it's all, it's all in motion. It's all motion.
Yeah.
And, when you see people smiling, you see people smile, you're doing something right. And you're sending a message to them. Music is to be happy, not to be sad.
Yes. So I have to ask this question because it was obvious to me that you guys did some rehearsing for the show that you did with the Jazz Orchestra. Okay,
go ahead.
And there was
I'm laughing for a reason.
Well, there was a moment where somebody said, well, this didn't go exactly as we planned it, but when you look at jazz and you look at improvisation, sometimes whatever happens in an orchestral setting. Everything is scripted, so every note and every nuance, and you got a conductor showing you visually how music changes and things go up and things go down. But I noticed at a certain point you were kind of orchestrating. What was that experience like for you to work with that orchestra?
Sorry.
That's okay.
I hope you edited this.
Yeah, I will. I will. So I'll get back to the question.
Okay.
I noticed at a certain point during your performance that you were kind of the conductor you were working with them, and yeah, as I said, it was stated at one point this didn't go exactly the way we planned it, but that's the nature of jazz music. I'm just curious, from your perspective, what it was like for you to work with an orchestra that orchestrates the way they do, and then you orchestrate the way you do.
Okay, well, I'm just going to give you a couple explanation of what happened that day. In the behind the scenes was, okay, early during that day, me and I had a sextet that had to play in Toledo for an hour early that day from 1:30 to 2:30. So they scheduled a rehearsal at 4:30. In this rehearsal, well, they gave me like percussion music and stuff like that, but I walked in there blind, more or less. Because I kept asking the boss of the jazz orchestra, I said, "What are we playing?" He goes, "Don't worry about it. You're gonna be just fine." I said, "But can I get some name of some songs?" He goes, "Don't worry about it." But then he asked me, "What song do you think you want to play?" I said, "Okay, the Red Can song and From Puente and Oye Como Va." So he said, "Okay." So we walked in. We got in there by 4:30. Me, Jackie, the trumpet player, and one of the sax players. We got there by 4:30. We started practicing. Now he's playing songs that I have never heard before, So I said, okay, so just let me, I'm just like get through the rehearsal, get ready to go change my clothes and come back. So I said, okay, now this is the thing. When they were trying to have me be like a machine. Okay, play here, da 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 da. I can't do that. That's like me having a timing thing in my ear. Ta ta ta. No, I can't do that. So I just got to the rehearsal. So once we started doing the show, I said, okay, let's kind of to step this up, because everything was like a little bit slow at the beginning of the show. You noticed. So I said, okay, let's ramp this up a little bit more. Mm. So once I felt that they couldn't stop it, then Paul Ferguson, the director, he said he kind of let me do what I needed to do,
right, and
get the crowd into it. So that's what happened there. But like you were asking about that we rehearsed and stuff. No, that was rehearsal. Rehearsal was that same day, and the gig was that same day. So it happens like that sometimes. But when it comes time to entertain the crowd, that's where I need to ramp it up a little bit, and let's go. Let's get this done. Let's make these people move.
Yeah. Well, I can guarantee.
And that's what I do, man.
Yes. I can guarantee you that nobody knew until it was said that this didn't go the way we expected it to go. But again, that's really a testimony to the beauty of jazz and improvisation. And, when it comes to performances, I know orchestras have to coordinate everything because you've got all these sections and everything has to work together. But the beauty of that music is being able to create things in the moment.
See, like me, okay, that orchestra, because they're fabulous, and it was an honor for me to play with them, big time honor for me to play with them, because, like you were saying about the older gentlemen and stuff like that, but this is what's going on. They're reading their music, everything's on point, so they don't have to come in. Now, if you know how to improvise and just open up, everything doesn't have to go that way. You got your part there. The only way it has to go is when you count it in. You go, okay, if something starts, then you got to come. But it doesn't have to go like this, like straight ahead. If you play jazz, it's for me, it's like an open field. You have your arrangement. You could the tune, and then in the middle, you just wait. Wait. Then you count the parts in and stuff like that. That's the way I feel about it. But I wasn't the boss that day, so what I could do. That's what happened there. But.
Okay. Well, since we're on that subject, in terms of your training, was it something that you had to go through an educational process for, or was it really more instinctive? Do you my training,
and what training are you talking about, actually?
In terms of music, I mean, there are drummers who
music. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you know something, and it's something that I'm pretty sure a lot of people already know, and they see it out of me. I'm self-taught. When I play, I am self-taught. I've learned by watching videos here and there, and and just taking the time to rehearse and stuff like that on my own. But everything that I learned on the timbales, for the most part, is self-taught. I've had nobody come and tell me, okay, Sammy, you got to play this way, this. No, I listen, I dissect it, the part, and then I turn around and learn it.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? Yeah. So with me, like what I nobody, like I said, nobody ever came. So I learned little by little. The timbales I love timbales from when I've heard them from the beginning, and with the music, and I kept going. And then like years after, that's what I learned. I told you I got congas and bongos and, maracas and guido and all the Latin percussion instruments. And, little by little, just study them, learn them, and attack it, Play it the correct way, not the wrong way.
Well, I have a great deal of respect for that. I'm a musician as well. I play piano, so I'm a kind of a percussionist. And as I was sitting there in the audience and I saw Sammy come up and play the instrument that he was playing, I'm looking at him and I'm like, yeah, I could do that.
Okay.
Let's
go, buddy. Let's go.
It's like I want to go out and get one of those instruments. I don't know the name of it, but
which one?
It's the one where you kind of scratch and tap on it. The one he was holding in his hand, when he wasn't playing the congas.
Oh, that's a guido.
Okay, yeah. So I'm looking at him play that, and I'm like, oh yeah. I could do that.
Yeah, there's a way of playing that though. It's not just scraping it. No, there's a pattern.
Oh yeah.
With the wrist and
Right, but it's something that is instinctive, and that's how I would describe your playing. It's instinctive,
Right.
Many people don't know this, but Barry White didn't come up reading music, and he was conducting orchestras. So, when it comes to music and it comes to education, education comes from the root word educe, which means to bring out of you. So you don't have to be trained in something that is a part of who you are. And percussion is a part of who you are, which is why you could take it to the levels that you have taken it without having that extensive education. Those cats that are on stage, they probably have master's degrees in music, and you played circles around them on that night. So, okay.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so...
but it's, like I've done a lot of different things in my music career, especially when I started my band. I needed horn players. I needed, some horn players. So somebody told me, well, why don't you go to Oberlin College? They got some young cats and stuff like that. And it got to the point where I started using guys from there, young guys from there and stuff like that. Like, actually, Jackie came from Oberlin College. That's where I met her from, and a lot of the horn, she introduced me to a lot of horn players. So at one point, my band, while it was moving, I had a revolving door in the horn section. Because they'll do their 4 years and then they were going to leave. So I said, okay, the year that you're going to leave, bring me somebody that's going to take your spot. So if they were in their third year or their second year, then they'd bring that person, trumpet player, trombone, sax, maybe. So I had that going for a while. I had that going for a long, long time, which was cool, And that's why that comes up. That's why that comes up to be the Sammy Salsa College.
Okay, so that's the perfect.
That's where that comes from.
Yes, and that is the perfect illustration of succession planning. We're going to talk a bit more about your musical career when we return. This is Open Door with Vince Robinson on 95.9 FM WOVU. We'll be right back.
The best thing Tri-C did for me was give me opportunities. The workforce program prepared me for the career I have now. I got a job in the aerospace industries where I work on CNC machines. I have 3 younger brothers. I want to teach my brothers, hard work actually pays off. Come to Tri-C. It's a great stepping stone to wherever you're trying to get to in life. My name is Chris Grooms, and I got my start at Tri-C.
Start now at tri-c.edu.
This message was brought to you by WOVU 95.9 FM at Burton Bear Carr Community Radio Station.
Ohio is our home, and it's full of family we're proud to care for. With more than 200 locations, Cleveland Clinic is growing to bring world-class care to your community. From Canton to Avon, and coming soon to Mentor. Whether it's sniffles and sneezes, or something more serious, big or small, we're always near you. For every care in the world. Schedule your care today at clevelandclinic.org/access.
This message was brought to you by WOVU 95.9 FM, Burton Bell Carr Community Radio.
Hi, I'm Candace Wilder from Signal Cleveland, and you're listening to WOVU 95.9 FM, Burton Bell Carr Community Radio.
Welcome back to Open Door with Vince Robinson and my conversation with percussionist Sammy DeLeon, who just described his succession planning practice. Students from Oberlin College would play for 4 years and then they'd be gone. And then he would say, well, when you leave, have somebody to replace you. That was brilliant, my brother. Brilliant.
I think I appreciate that. No, it just worked out for me because, I had guys play with me 2 years, tops, maybe 3. But I would tell them, okay, you're going to graduate, and you're going to get your degree. Okay, can you bring me the person that you think is the next best after you? And they would bring them. We'd practice, and then as, time goes by, the guy graduates and the other guy's already groomed. He's ready to go. And that's what I did for many years. I had a lot of horn players from Oberlin College. Mm-hmm. It worked for me, man. I didn't have a problem with the horn section, to tell you the truth.
Right. So you've had this long relationship with Jackie Warren, who was one of the greatest musicians Cleveland has ever seen. She played that piano, the grand piano that was on that stage magnificently. Yeah. I can recall seeing something that she did at Nighttown. It was kind of an off-the-cuff thing where she was sitting at the piano and somebody was playing with her at the same time on the same keyboard, and it was just magical what they did. Talk about your relationship with pianist Jackie Warren.
Well, me and her, like I said, we go a long way. She came out of Oberlin College, and she was playing with another band she was still in college, but she was playing with this other band, and I had, we had Impacto Nuevo, and then when she heard us, the band play, she was always saying, I want to play with that band. I want to play with that band. So the band that she was playing with, I guess they were going to split up and stuff, and they split up, and it didn't take long before she came to the band, to Impacto Nuevo. And then, so we've been, ever since then, then we left to Florida. Some of us left to Florida for a little while. But then we came back. She was playing, her and a friend of hers, Binda Kydell, were playing with this other band. And I walked up because somebody had asked me to, if I was going to get the band together again. I didn't want to put my name. I never wanted to put my name. Things happened, and I ended up putting my name. And I told her I was going to put the band together, and the first thing out of her mouth was, when's rehearsal? Yeah, seriously. So we started rehearsing, man. It was, there we go. We kept moving it from that day one. And, everywhere we go, everybody, I got to give her props because what she does. And, I just try to make everybody rock on. Let's go. And right now there's a lot of musicians, a lot of Latino musicians out there, a lot of Latino wannabe salsa singers, which I got to say, they want to get into the band with me. It takes you got to be a special person and a team person. And she's been team with me like since I started, man. Since I started, and it's been crazy. It's been crazy. I don't even know what else to say about it. It just happened, and we just been playing together forever.
Okay. Well, what do you attribute her connection to Latin music to?
What do you mean? I'm not understanding that question.
Well, she's kind of like the queen of salsa piano in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah, right? Well, like I said, she got her master's and stuff in piano and stuff, which is amazing. But when she heard salsa, like, she kind of fell in love with it. Now, mind you, she comes from a town in Colorado. It's called Calhan, Colorado. The name says it all. Okay.
Calhan.
That's what it's called. Calhan.
Wow.
Yeah, Calhan, not Calhan. K-E-L, Calhan.
Okay.
So she, it's funny. So she comes from there, I met her parents. Her parents came out here, and, but she kept on going with the salsa stuff, and you got to, there's this thing called Montuno, and it's very important with the salsa music. So there was a CD, it's called 101 Montunos. 101 different Montunos. So she learned every single one of them. She learned every single one of them. So by number, and I would tell, okay, play this number. She'll play it. And she kept going from there. And we've had a lot of Latino big salsa singers come in from out of town that my band backed them up. And the first thing they say, they've never seen Americana play piano the way she plays it. Playing that montuno stuff. So that's very important in the salsa music. But yeah, she kept going on and on. Now she got the three divas, her and two other women, bass player and girl and lady drummer.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing just fine. They've made a few CDs and they're doing good. And I tell you, you can go, take off. I'm not going to stop nobody from making it big. I can't do that. So I tell her, go. But I don't know. She just seems like to stick around. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know she sticks around, so she's going to stick around. Might as well play with me.
Okay. I'm curious to know what you know about the connection between Latin music, the rhythms of Latin music, and the roots in Africa. Have you explored that at all?
Okay. This is the roots of Latin music. That came. Okay, the conga drum, actually comes from Africa. So that's years go by. Okay. It gets into Cuba. Still African drum. Okay, you got your drums with rope, heat for the skins, to warm up the skins, get them a higher pitch or lower pitch. And as everything kept going, years go by, and then the technology comes up. Now you got your metal. With the lugs to tune up the drum, to tune up timbales, little by little. And like I want to say, probably about the late 40s, 50s. That's, then it started migrating from Cuba into Puerto Rico and South America and stuff like that. But then that's, then in New York because before it used to be called mambo or guaracha or something like that. But then it changed it. There was a whole bunch of people. So when you music turn around, they got a label called Fania All Stars, and they are the ones that came up with the word salsa. So the African drum kept moving, and then once like the technology, like I said, with the skins and stuff like that, and the congas and the bongos and the timbales, well, then said the name salsa comes, it's sauce. So you need a certain ingredients to make the sauce, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So there you have it. So you had the bongos, the congas, the timbales, the bass, the piano player, a horn player maybe, and a singer. And they started doing it like that. And then they started adding, then here's Puente and Tito Puente Sr., Tito Rodriguez, Machito. They just added more horns to it, more orchestrated, more jazz-oriented, and made the salsa very jazz-oriented, but with the salsa feel. And that's where they call Latin jazz, or they'll call it, mambo salsa, But that's where it came from. That's how all that built it up.
Okay.
And it came to the point where, like this past year, and they got different styles of music, like salsa, but they got charanga, they got mambo, they got guaracha, they got charanga, they got cha-cha-cha, stuff like that. So that's why I kind of spearheaded this year with the charanga, because a lot of people didn't know what that music is. And that's one of the funnest musics to play.
Charanga.
Charanga, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And there's many bands, and a couple of the tunes that I played this year at the Tri-C Jazz Fest was from a band called Típica 73. The name speaks for itself. So, they played a lot of charanga music, and they were that was one group in the 70s and 80s. They were ahead of their time. A lot of people say they were so tight and so tough playing charanga music. It was incredible. So I played a couple of their tunes.
Okay. Go ahead. I was just going to say, you mentioned Tito Puente. Could you talk about who your musical heroes were as you were growing as a musician?
Well, first of all, him. I had the honor of playing with that gentleman 5 times, and it was one of the best times in my musical career. Because one time, I remember the first time we were at it was in Lakeview, in Lorain, Lakeview Beach. They had a Latino concert there, and I played there young. I was, 18, 19. But then they had Tito Puente was coming into town on that Sunday to Peabody Down Under here in Cleveland. So I was with a buddy of mine, and the first time I'm seeing Puente, and I said, "Whoa, I think I could do this." So I said, I'm going to ask him for a break, my buddy. He goes, I'll pay you $20 if you ask him for a break. He goes, but he ain't going to let you up there. So I went up there. Dude, I had an afro, one of the biggest afros in the world. I'm serious. And I went up to him and I asked him for a break. He looked at me kind of sideways. I go, no, give me a break. So he called me up there. And then the first thing he told me was, watch what I do and listen. He gave me 2 sticks. So once he took off by himself, then he goes, you play everything I play. So I played everything he played. Then he went on break and he asked me, well, who are you? Where you come from? And I said, well, Sammy DeLeon, took me upstairs to the dressing room. We talked for a while. And he goes, man, you got good potential. Stay with me. You're going to play the second set. I said, all right. So I stayed up there and played the second set with him. And then it was from there on anytime I see him anywhere, or, he came to Cleveland. He came a couple times. He came to Lorain a couple times, in New York and Puerto Rico and Orlando, Florida. And every time he see me, bring me on stage and I'd play with him.
Can you remember what year that was?
Woo! I want to say 1981 or 82 at Lakeview Beach in Lorain, Ohio.
Okay. And
I want to say, I'm not sure.
Okay.
So long ago.
The show that you did at Peabody's Down Under, do you remember what year that was?
Well, that was that same day, in 1981.
Okay.
It was 1981 on a Sunday in the summertime.
Okay.
I tell you, I was like 19 years old, man. So.
Okay. Wow.
It was wild. It was one of the best times of my career. Well, all the time I played, it was the best time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I guess I have a couple of years on you, Sammy.
Well, hey, that's okay with me.
Yeah. It's
like another time that I had a good time with, Gran Combo from Puerto Rico. Their drummer, they came here to play in Cleveland,
mm-hmm.
and their drummer was going to have a procedure done, so he was going to be out for a few months. So the leader of the Gran Combo, gave me the opportunity to fly me out to Puerto Rico, play with him a few months, and when I was ready to come home, he'll fly me back home, and I did that too.
Okay.
And Gran Combo is one of the bands that's been together for almost 60 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I had the honor to play with them, and all these other singers that came into town and back them up. Good things. Real good things happening and stuff like that. So like right now, I did that thing with the Cleveland Jazz Orchestra this past Saturday. Now I'm getting ready to do something with the Cleveland Orchestra. They have something going on in December. They want Latin percussion, and we'll see what happens. We'll go from there. See if I can cut the mustard, like they say. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that, like many musical units, they're really interested in expanding their audiences, and I think that's probably one of the reasons that the Cleveland Jazz Orchestra reached out to you. And in all transparency, I'm on the board of the Cleveland Jazz Orchestra, so that was one of the reasons that I was there. And I was one of the few board members that was there at that concert, but it was just important for me to be there. And as I said, I'm really impressed with your music, and I appreciate what you did with your performance on that evening. We're going to talk a little bit more about the future of Sammy DeLeon and Isu Orchestra when we return. This is Open Door with Vince Robinson on 95.9 FM WOVU. I am with Sammy DeLeon, and we will continue our conversation right after this.
Come back to go forward. Back to learning new things. Back to pursuing your dreams. Tri-C has flexible learning options to fit your life. And every year, more than 1,000 local companies provide Tri-C students with real-world learning. The right education can boost your lifetime earning power by hundreds of thousands of dollars. Start now with a college education you can afford. Tri-C, where futures begin.
Start now at tri-c.edu.
This message was brought to you by WOVU 95.9 FM at Burton Bear Carr Community Radio Station.
Ohio is our home, and it's full of family we're proud to care for. With more than 200 locations, Cleveland Clinic is growing to bring world-class care to your community. From Canton to Avon, and coming soon to Mentor. Whether it's sniffles and sneezes, or something more serious, big or small, we're always near you. For every care in the world. Schedule your care today at clevelandclinic.org/access.
This message was brought to you by WOVU 95.9 FM, Burton Bell Carr Community Radio.
We remember when we first heard you were on your way, having no idea of exactly what you'd be like or how we'd play a role in your growth and development. But look at you now, 5 years old, making an impact in the community, and still, this is only the beginning. The best is yet to come. On behalf of the team at Another Look at Life with Stephanie, happy birthday, WOVU, the best station in the land.
Hi, this is Tammy Payton, the CEO and founder of Pillars to Success Incorporated. You are listening to 95.9 FM WOVU, Our Voices United, Burton Bell Carr Community Radio.
Welcome back to Open Door with Vince Robinson. I have the pleasure and the honor of speaking with Sammy DeLeon. After all these years, we finally had a face-to-face conversation a few days ago, and I asked him if he would be interested in doing this interview, and he graciously accepted. So again, I'm honored that you are with me today. You have talked about some of your musical heroes, some of the performances that you were able to participate in, including one with a giant in the music, and that is Tito Puente, who I have witnessed also. For some reason, I was thinking that maybe I was at that show at Peabody's, but 1981 would have been too soon for me. And I think 1981, I think I was probably all of 22, 23 years old. So that's why I said I got a few years on you, but I'm glad to have grown musically, and I'm glad to have witnessed your growth as a musician, because as you play and you entertain those audiences, you get better and better. It's always amazing to me to watch you in action, to see how you direct your band, and you might just give a head nod or some type of gesture, and exactly. Everybody knows what you mean when you do what you do. Not like James Brown. James Brown, he'd give you a look and then he'd flash fingers at you, and how many times he flashed was how much money he was taking from you because you screwed up.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So what was it like for you to work with so many musicians over such a long period of time? And I asked this question as someone who has been a band leader and knows that you have to balance all these different personalities and moods and everything. And it's not an easy thing to do.
Exactly. No, it's very difficult. I don't know how the heck I have dealt with them all these years, because I have some that are original. The Jackie's an original. My bass player Elmer's an original. The conga player Ray Guzman's original. Let me see who else. Yeah, there's a few of them. But as years went on, all these years with my band being together and stuff like that, it's it's not easy. It's not very easy. Let me see. I can tell you, I am not a computer whiz. So once social media came in, I did the best that I could. I did the best that I could, but, like lately, I'm thanking my wife over there. She's working right now. Her job is in Miami. She's working over, she's looking at me. But, once she came in, she knows the computer inside out. So now she started putting like a lot of social media stuff out there. And a lot of things have been happening like very quickly, which I wasn't really used to. But now it's like on the move, on the move, on the move, on the move. There's, till October, November, and I have about 4 or 5 different dates with double gigs on the same day, 2 gigs on one day. So, I have to have everybody, the musicians, ready to go in order to give them all their information, know what they got to be, know what they got to wear, and stuff like that. But as the years went by, me learning how to do that, I just watched, listened to all the band leaders talk. We talked among ourselves. We talked with other musicians, and just watch how people do their thing, how to move a band. Because I never thought I'd be a band leader or a band director, to tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Never thought of that.
Yes.
I learned my directing a band. I learned that on my own myself. I just had to find out and figure out where the number one was. And one, you guys figured out after that,
Mm-hmm.
But that's the way it worked out. And I guess I've done something well for them to stick around with me, and play music all these years.
So how do you manage the process of learning music when you don't necessarily read the music and you're providing instruction to those that you're playing with?
Well, it's a lot listening to the song over and 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 over. You keep going over and over. And, I learn everybody's part by ear.
Mm.
When I have a percussion part in front of me, then I bring it home. I'll study it with the music, make sure I read the road map and go from there, know where the break is at, know how the break goes, know whose horn part's supposed to come. I learned the whole score of the song.
Yes. It's kind of a similar process for folks who are involved in theater.
Right.
You have your lines and then everybody else has their lines, and you have to learn their lines as well as your lines so that you know when to come in and
exactly.
how to respond to their cue, right, and so forth and so on. So it is.
And they'll tell me, like my musicians will tell me, hey, you played that wrong, and we'll stop it and we'll go over it. Not until I play it right the way it's supposed to be, then I won't move on. No, this got to go like this, and it goes like this. So I make sure everybody knows their part to the T, and it goes like this. They'll be trying to come and fake the funk with me because they ain't going to work with me. Seriously, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's, so basically that's what it is, But, it's hard. It's hard. It's not easy. It's not an easy task.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Well, I can tell you what else isn't easy. Those dates that you're booked and you have 2 in one day. How do you manage to push through all the energy that's required in one show and then have the same level of energy in the second show?
I make sure that there's at least 3 to 4 hours in between so I can relax for a little bit. Relax for a little bit and get ready. Showtime again. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Get everybody in gear. Let's go.
Yeah. So, in your assemblage of musicians, are there any like hard and fast rules, do's and don'ts?
Oh well, there's only one of the main ones is everybody for the most part, musicians, some of them drink and stuff. That's no drinking on the stage. You can drink water all you want, but I don't want to see no drink or beer or anything on the stage. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the main things. And the other thing is, if we're going to start playing at 7 o'clock, you have to be there an hour prior, 6 o'clock. Get your stuff in place, do what you got to do, sit down and relax. Showtime, 7 o'clock. Something like that. That's basically what it is. And everybody, if I tell you wear a uniform, then wear the uniform. Don't come try to. If I tell you white shirt and blue jeans, well, wear a white shirt and blue jeans, not a tan shirt and blue jeans. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. I like it to look good. Look good and look professional.
Yes.
You see what happened at Tri-C this year, I was all in white. Everybody wore what they needed to wear, all white.
Uh-huh.
And it looked good.
Yes. Okay.
So that's basically it,
All right. So you've been at this for a while. Have you been involved in recording, or do you have any plans to put out some recordings out?
You know what? The recording part, I should be getting more into recording and stuff. It's the financial part, But now everybody's like recording out of their houses and stuff like that. And like I said, I'm not that that advanced at that yet. My thing is just playing. You want to record me? Come on, I'll go record for you. We get stuff figured out like that. But yeah, I should be recording a little bit more, but I haven't.
Well, I have an idea for you, Sammy.
Yes, sir.
You have created this salsa college. So you got young folks who are very connected to technology, and I could imagine that you could probably recruit somebody to do that for you, and it'd be a heck of a lot cheaper to do it through a student than it would be. Others.
I bet. That's a good idea you just gave me. That's good to think about.
Okay, I'll just take 2%.
Okay, that's cool. I'll give you 3 just for the idea.
Yeah. Well, I think what inspired me was meeting a student from the School of Music, Berkeley School of Music. And he's a drummer, but he's also a recording engineer. So I had this fantasy of having him as part of my band, but he had to go back to school. So I wasn't able to take advantage of his skill. But that's something that you might want to think about.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I've never really thought about that, but that's cool. I'll see what I can do about that. Actually,
yeah. And then the other beauty to that is that when Sammy is gone, the music still continues, and folks can continue to enjoy your music.
Exactly. You're right. You are correct, man.
Right.
You are correct.
Yeah. So what other plans do you have for the orchestra? You mentioned you have these dates going through December, and you're double booked and whatnot. What do you see as the future?
Well, basically, I'm just trying to finish, get the year out. We're good. We're be very busy at the rest of this year and see what happens. See what comes next year. Hopefully, I'll be still around by next year. But you never know. Man upstairs works different ways, and I'm here for a reason, and he sees what I'm doing, and hopefully, do better things for next year. Make it better as best as I could. Not that it's bad now, but just trying to make it a little bit better for the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm. So I have to ask this question. What would be your dream set if you could bring in some musicians to work with you? And I gave you another idea, or actually it's an idea for the Cleveland Jazz Orchestra to fill up the Palace in Lorain. But what would be your dream team as a percussionist if you were to be able to put that together?
That would be the Mambo Legends. You would put this band, Mambo Legends, bring them in. That'd be, and the Cleveland Jazz Orchestra with ourselves. Like I said earlier, that would be the dream. That would be the dream team there. That's what they call themselves too. Anyway, the Mambo Legends, they call themselves the dream team, and it's true.
Yes,
they got a great set of musicians in that band. Woo!
Yes,
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So
you were able to play at Nighttown on a number of occasions, and there was another guy.
I missed that place.
Yes, Chuchito Valdez and Chucho Valdez. Have you ever been able to connect with them musically?
Yeah, with Chuchito, of course. I played with Chuchito a few times at Nighttown, and we went to play in Indiana and Youngstown at Nighttown a few times. And, yeah, he's a pretty cool cat. He's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Fun to play with, but they're like serious when it's time to play.
Mm-hmm.
Very serious. There's no joke. No, let's go forward. Yeah. If he hears you with the slagger, he's gonna look at you one way, and you already know. Get to moving.
Okay.
Get moving. No, Chuchito's cool. Never played with his dad, but I've heard his dad. They got a concert. They had a concert years ago. It was grandfather, father, and Chuchito, with Bebel, Chucho, and Chuchito.
Mm.
Great, fantastic.
Another Latin musician that I have been honored to witness is Omar Sosa.
Omar Sosa's bad. Omar's bad.
Yes.
Bad boy.
Yeah. Playing piano, and he had some bells around his ankle. So
yeah,
I think,
exactly. That's wild. That's a wild thing.
Yeah. Amazing performance. Performance. So, well, Sammy, it has been a joy to have this conversation with you.
Thank you, sir, for having me on your station, sir.
Yes,
thank you very much.
Absolutely. And on behalf of the fans of salsa music in Northeast Ohio, I want to thank you for your service to our community.
Thank you.
I talked about that at the beginning of the show, but when Sammy is on stage, there are smiles in the audience. It's infectious, it's effective, and it is necessary. So thank you for doing what you do, and thank you for joining me on Open Door with Vince Robinson.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it.
All right. And as always, to those who are listening, know yourself, love yourself, be yourself, make today your absolute best day. Peace.
And be positive.
Yeah, absolutely. Peace.